Good morning. This is Ricky Analog, and welcome to STN Stock Talk with Ricky and Goose. Switching up the order today, I'm up first to bat. StockTraders.net, guys. We're a leading online trading community with free trading rooms, and we also have premium live HD trading. Come join us today. If you have questions about the ideas we discuss in this broadcast, you know we're happy for you to join us, where all of our instructors are eager to help. Register today and DM us any questions you may have. As always, the disclaimer is important, guys. We remind you nothing we mentioned this morning is a solicitation to trade, but simply we're discussing it for informational purposes. Please be sure to familiarize yourself with the disclaimer in the description. Now, we know your time is valuable, so we keep these broadcasts succinct as possible. Our purpose is not to provide 20 ideas. Just go over a few and explain what we're looking at. We're always looking for quality over quantity. So today I'm going to turn this one over to Goose, and let's see what he's got on his list. Goose?
Hey, Ricky, great job as always. Wow, I got to tell you that I don't know how to start off. Maybe introduce my box of chocolates or something like that, or cookies, or I don't know. But anyway, let me just get into my list today. I'm actually really excited today because there's a lot of setups out there that I like that kind of fit into my categories. So I'm going to roll through a few of them that I have. I'm going to start off with ICHR, but I want to remind you guys all, that it's a lot easier. Just join the trends in the market. If markets really starts to decide to rip or anything like that, look from your long plays and vice versa. Don't just be stuck where I have to short everything. So keep in mind, all these, the ideas that I'm giving today, I'm going to be looking, see if they're setting up also if the market's conducive for those setups. So, I'm not going to force anything or try to fight anything because the market will keep things up and give it a little extra strength, obviously, from the short side. So today I want to start off with ICHR. I really love this idea. I've traded it from the bounce, as you guys know. I'm going to come back to it again and discuss it. And what I'm looking at here is this, you can see how it stopped up here in the 2580 area a couple times. And this is what I was looking at. I think when I actually started off, I was talking about this old support area hitting its head, and it has been. The big thing for me is now it's closed below the 200-day, which was 2511, closed at 2472, which puts a big time on my radar for a fade. It's already down a little bit pre-market. I'm hoping maybe it lifts a little bit more. And what I'm looking for is a push back on those previous highs up in the mid-25s to hope, put a position on. I'll use those previous highs as a guide in that 26 area. I'm not going to get stubborn. But I definitely am looking for this as a fade, and I think I drew a little line. That 50% retrace from that move, this move here, is going to be around 23. That I'm not thinking that could happen today. It might not, but that's my guide where I probably covered the balance of my position or leave a fifth on or something like that. But I do like this setup, and I think this is prime for a nice fade today. 2470 was a line I had drawn on another one of my charts where I was kind of looking at where I'd like to see it break, but it's already traded below that this morning already. So we'll see what happens. If it does not want to push that level at the open, I might start earlier right in this range, right about around previous close, and just start with a starter position and add if it makes a little push. But I'll manage my size accordingly. Moving right along, I'm going to go into TRIP, TRIP. TRIP is a real cut and dry one for me. It's a kind of a risk reward play. This morning it's trading just in the low 42s, and you can kind of see that this line. I think it's on a lot of radars, but it obviously, and it should be. I mean, it's been holding this one level every time. We've had it down with the funny market that we've had over the last week or so. It made the big move. It's pulled back, and it's just kind of holding in there. And I just feel like it's getting ready. It's not a perfect chart setup for what I look for as far as, it still really hasn't made the turn yet. But I like the risk reward that if it does pull into that, around 42 or 4150, the risk reward to me is fantastic. So, I'll look for a long position, maybe on an imbalance at the morning for, take a position there. And I think that this can make a pretty decent push up into that 44, 45 range pretty nicely. So I really like the idea in TRIP on the long side, especially with the risk reward. If it does not, fade right at the open, doesn't mean that I won't take a position and use, 42 as a number to risk off of and reassess it if it holds 4150. So that's my plan. I'm definitely looking at it from the long side, and it is on my radar. Might not be right out of the gate unless there's an imbalance and a fail right out of the gate, but we'll see how it plays out. Moving on to my last one today is TWLO, TWLO. So, this is an interesting one. There's a couple quick notes I just want to cover on this. I like the action on TWLO as far as what, you could see the topping here up in this 34 range. I'm looking for a pop and a risk reward trade. Now, keep in mind, there was a little bit of, they came out on really good numbers, and this is why you saw the big move. But this is a giant move, and it looks like it's, been kind of stuffing in this area every time it's made a push. So, I'm looking for a fade and a fade back down to this 31 area, which would be that first 40% or so retrace. But, keep in mind, one thing I want to note is, there was some, rumor as far as, some, I think it was Salesforce. So, the way I always trade these things, I'm not a giant fan of trading, phase 3 companies for FDA stuff or buyout, chatter and stuff like that. You always got to be real cautious on how you trade them. So I'll look for, not necessarily a quick scalp, but I'll be on my toes. If I have the position, I'm not going to walk away from my desk and just have my stops in, because you got to be on your toes for that. If it starts trading differently, or you see a big spike in volume, I want to be able to cover the position. So just understand what you're trading and what the news is out there. And I do like the short here. I will definitely look to put it on, risking this 34 area, and looking for a fade down to, I think there's plenty of range here down to 32 or 31 bucks. So I do like the idea, and I'll definitely be looking at that as one of my top watches as well today. Guys, remember to use that market, what I had mentioned to you as far as, staying safe, staying smart with it, and don't trade, don't go crazy on shorts all day long if the market's, tearing. Use that as a little bit of a guide. I think it's important. But that's it for my picks. Let me I know Ricky has a few he wants to go over, and I'll turn it back over to him, and I'll talk to you guys in a second to close out. There you go, Ricky.
Thanks a lot, Goose. And as always, on point. Just want to point out to everybody how much I enjoy doing these broadcasts with Goose, because first and foremost, I am a student. And so when this guy talks, I listen, and he has been so on point lately, guys. So the first thing I do want to point out is I just want to touch quickly on the S&P. I feel like yesterday we triggered a key level to the downside when we broke the previous day's lows after already trying to make a push higher and stuffing. So I'm not sure I really trust any pushback up until it gets back over the high we put in on 216, which was 275.32. So until then, I'm not really trusting any of these up moves, but we're going to play it accordingly, because the overall market's really going to affect especially some of the things that we're about to go over on this list, which would be AAOI. It's the first one on my list today. And I know they missed on their earnings, and it was pretty bad miss. However, the chart is already beaten down long-term since last August. And the short interest on this one is huge. They're a low float for the price range they trade, and it's possible that over half the float is currently short. So now if the market does indeed bounce today, I think AAOI has the ability to squeeze a bit, since it really held that key level very well around the 25 or 28.50-ish area. But if the market does in fact have some more downside in it, I think we possibly take out that level, and then AAOI could be in for another big move down. Personally, I think the play today might be the bounce, though, once it shows the ability to hold some levels. But as always, I'm going to be waiting for it to tell me it's ready. I want to stress the importance of knowing your levels. So if they get violated, you're not caught off guard. Small losses are okay, but the large ones, those are unacceptable, guys. So I want to just zoom out into the weekly on this and show you how crucial these levels are that it's kind of holding right now. So it was a level a long time ago, and it was a level recently, and now it's really, really trying to hold that. So if we can stay over it, I think we get the squeeze. If not, it may be on another leg down. Next on the list is ROKU. And I know you're thinking, ROKU again? Yeah, well, I think it's definitely in play again today. And depending on the market, it too will be similar to AAOI. And you can see they missed on their earnings, but not as bad as AAOI did. And it's probably even arguable how bad the miss was. ROKU's a difficult one to kind of value on a fundamental level. But from a technical level, we definitely have some very, very cut and dry levels. It also has a high short interest like AAOI. And so because of that, I think it has the potential to squeeze as well. You can see this level that it's holding, but you can also see how it's forming pretty much your perfect head and shoulders play if we do lose this 39, let's just call it 39s. But if the market wants to bounce, even though I don't trust it to be a sustainable one, I still think that this might be able to hold these levels and squeeze back up. So my main lean into this one is probably long on the day, but know your levels and also know the levels of the opposite side of the trade. So you know that if it gets under 39, the shorts are going to be having their way with this one. So that's important to pay attention to and keep in mind. Now, without further ado, let's get into ANTH. And I know that's probably what everyone's anxious for me to get into. They're about as dirty as they come, and they're sneaky with it to boot. There isn't a doubt in my mind that this move is completely manufactured to get the funds out for a profit, at which point they'll hand the controls over to retail and watch as they get bagged. I was really hoping for this thing to gap up and push early, but if it can't find its legs, I have zero problem shorting this thing below the previous close if it sets up correctly. They traded over 36 million shares yesterday and barely moved the needle. I mean, let's take a look at this. We can go back. I don't think there is an amount of time we can go back and see volume like that. We've never traded volume like this. And, 13 million OS should have moved the needle with 36 million shares. So you have to ask yourself, why is it that it wasn't able to? And if you don't know why that is, you really need to come over to stocktraders.net and talk to some people. The funds are far from done dumping, so I really hope they get this thing back up. The best look for me is if they can break previous day's highs and get a nice strong push over 3. I cannot stress enough, though, that your fundamental research bias cannot override your technical approach. You can't just short it at any level and know that in a few days this very well may be back at $1.50. What it does in the meantime can make or break you. So stay safe, guys, and make sure you have a plan. I'm going to hand it back over to Goose and let him say his farewells. Come see us over at STN. And as always, guys, let's crush it.
Man, I was going to close out with that. Let's crush it. You ruined it.
I'm sorry.
Hey, guys, have a really safe day today. I just want to talk about the market. That was it. And I know we're kind of tight for time, so I'm just going to say let's have a really, really good day. Keep in mind what we're trading and how the market is and the industries are. Always be smart, guys. Nothing to force. It's okay to sit on your hands and wait for your setups. And when you get your setups, remember conviction, and then you get your size in. All right, guys, let's have a great day today. And please, guys, join stocktraders.net and hit us up with any questions if you guys have about the broadcast. We're always there for you guys. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.